most versatile ingredient in my kitchen would have to be the humble egg. There are so many different dishes you can do with them. And I'm going to show you how to cook eggs en cocotte. That's how we say it in French. Essentially, it's baked eggs. And in these baked eggs, I'm going to be adding some salmon, kale and a few spices and herbs. So delicious. I've preheated my oven to 180 degrees and let's get on to cooking the kale first. So a large pan. Just going to heat that up so it's a nice hot pan, a good glug of extra virgin olive oil, about 1.5 tablespoons to 2 tablespoons, so lots of oil. And I'm going to start preparing my kale. Give your kale a really good wash, and we don't want that centre rib in that kale. And the best way to remove the leaves is just by trimming both sides and taking all those leaves off. And baked eggs are one of those dishes where you can change it up as much as you like. Fantastic with a little bit of ham if you like. You can make this 100% vegetarian. And if you can't find kale, spinach works a treat too. So we're just going to squash our kale together and finely chop it. I love the kale with the salmon and the eggs because it's got a really hearty, very herbaceous flavour to it. Okay, that's looking good. It's going to wilt down quite a lot. That pan is hot, so we can add our kale. And because we are going to cook this again in the oven, we don't want to cook this for too long. So just get a little heat into it and some flavouring. So seasoning of salt, good crack of pepper, lots of pepper for this. And some dried dill. Dried dill's my new favourite dried herb. It's got loads of flavour in it. And if you don't want to buy a whole bunch of dill, this is a great alternative. Pinch of that. And a pinch of chilli flakes. And some lemon zest. So we'll turn the heat off before we add the lemon zest. I don't like to cook the lemon zest because we lose a lot of its flavour. So just turn the heat off when you do add it. Mix that through. And we are ready. So just in 4 1-cup capacity ramekins, I'm going to be cooking this bain-marie style. So the eggs just cook nice and evenly in the oven. So some creme fraiche. I love the tanginess of creme fraiche and it cooks down nicely. So just 1 tablespoon in each ramekin. And just spread it out on the base. Now for our kale. Evenly distribute the kale. You can see how much it cooks down. Great. Now for the salmon. I have centre cut pieces of salmon here that are about 50 centimetres each. This is one of those dishes that you could have for lunch, a hearty brunch if you like, or even a dinner. So that's why I do have a nice generous portion of the salmon. And I'm just leaving a gap in the centre because I need to crack 2 eggs into this dish. So give yourself some room for that. And now for our eggs. I like to crack my eggs onto the bench and then into my ramekin. It just gives you extra assurance that you're not going to add any of the shell into the ramekin. And you want to carefully do this because I don't want to break that beautiful yolk in the centre. Now we need to season the eggs and the fish, so a good pinch of salt on each. How pretty do they look? I love the pink and the orange together. Gorgeous. If you like some freshly cracked pepper, I know I do. And to make this extra saucy, another small spoonful of that creme fraiche just in the centre, because as that cooks in the oven, it just melts away in with the egg whites there. Just yummy. Okay, now for that bain-marie, some hot water, carefully pour it into the black dish, about halfway up each ramekin. And this cooks in the oven, 180 degrees for about 15 minutes. You want to keep an eye on it. You want that fish to cook all the way through, and you want those yolks to be just set. I like mine to be slightly gooey in the centre. The eggs have come out of the oven, and I do like to let them cool for about 5 minutes before serving them because they're going to be piping hot. Some fresh parsley over the top, and these are ready to taste. I like to serve this with some char grilled bread. I'm just going to grab a knife, cut that in half, and pop that on a plate. And because they have cooled down slightly, I can just get a fork under that, take it out of the water, and then onto the presentation plate. Baked eggs, you can do them any way. Like I said, eggs are super versatile. They're good for you. I want to have a taste of this. Let's see if this yolk is cooked to perfection. Oh, look at that. Slightly runny, little of that salmon. Baked eggs, they really never go out of fashion. There are so many different ways of cooking them, but this way with the salmon and the kale, just so yummy. Brunch, lunch, dinner, that's a winner. Hey, see what I've done there? Dad joke.